session, and it's meant for students in the Mindfulness Based Stress Reduction class, but perhaps it could be useful for everyone as well. So before we can begin, if you don't have, could you perhaps pause the video and go get a dried raisin? A cranberry would do, a dried small fruit of any sort would do. So pause the video if you don't have one, and then start again. So for now, let's just take a moment to transition from our busy life. In the classroom, you would have had transitional time and then mindful movement before we begin the mindful eating. But for the purpose of this video, for students who missed the first class to catch up or to review, we will just do a very short transitional time. So if you feel comfortable, you can stand or sit, as long as your position feels at ease and you feel like you could be engaged and the quality of your attention is there. Whatever the case, it's fine. So let's take a moment. If you feel comfortable, also lower your eyes, looking at something that's not moving in front of you. And let's take a breath in and release. And another breath in and release. And allowing whatever the experience is right now to be. There is no perfect breath. There is no perfect way to breathe right now. So let's take a breath in and just notice how your body is today at this moment. What can be known about this inflow of the breath? And the outflow of the breath. Whatever it is, this is it. This is how the breath is today. And if you redo this video tomorrow, it may be different. We'll next shift our attention to how the posture and scan the entire body. Imagining that there's something at the tip of the head, an invisible balloon perhaps holding the tip of the head up, all the way up to the sky. And just noticing the beginning of the in-breath, where the in-breath ends exactly in the body. Whether there was a pause between in-breath becoming out-breath. And whether the pause between the out-breath and the in-breath was longer or shorter than the other pause. And as much as you can, let go of the striving for the perfect way to breathe. And just let the natural breath and the body experience breathing. And as we all know, in this COVID-19 time, to be able to breathe is quite a miraculous thing that our body can still do. So let's enjoy the next 2 breaths. And next, shifting attention to the points of contact, perhaps the feet on the ground or a stool or wherever the feet are right now. Perhaps sensing the difference between the left and the right foot. And just shifting the attention slightly to the rising and falling of the lungs, chest, and perhaps the abdomen also, and the shoulders. This marvelous machine that has been working for how many years? Without us really noticing. There's a lot going on right now. And so we begin mindful eating. Pick up the raisin. You can pick it up any way you want, between 2 fingers or many fingers. And let's just really look at it. If you are outside or have natural light, it will be even better. But that's okay. Wherever you are, with whatever light condition you have, it's fine. So raise it up and thoroughly look at it. Turn it a little bit. Look at it from a different angle. Breathing in. This is the color I see. Breathing out. As if I'm a painter or photographer, I would like to capture this and memorize it so I can reproduce it. Breathing in, turning the raisin or whatever fruit you have in your hand one more time, and see if the angle difference changes the shape, the color. Breathing in, I can even see the little shadows and the difference in the colors, perhaps the light shining through this little piece of thing, this object in my hand. Perhaps, again, changing the angle of how we hold it. Completely change the outline of the shape. Next, we will now put it in the palm of one hand. And you might find closing the eyes, if you're comfortable, a little better to feel the senses on the palm, while taking the other hand, 1 finger or 2, and rolling that little piece of something in the palm of your hand. Breathing in, I sense this little piece of fruit, edges, dryness, dampness maybe in your hand. And rolling this around, feeling all the edges of the object. As if this is the only sense you have to contact the real world outside, not the 5 senses. Next, bring the piece of raisin up again and bring it closer to your ears. And then squeeze it down a tiny little bit. And then roll it around and squeeze it some more. Do you hear anything? And this is why we recommend a dry fruit, because a dry fruit always has some sound to itself. Next, hold it in front of your face as far as you can. And then just breathe normally and approach the raisin to your nose very slowly. And as you're breathing, just stop where you feel like you sense that scent of the raisin faintly. stop right there where you feel like, this is what the scent of the raisin or that fruit is. And then next, I would like you to approach again the fruit closer to the mouth, very slowly. And as you're moving this piece of fruit next to your mouth slowly, notice if there is any kind of urge or habit or saliva or something else that happens. What happens when this piece of food is getting closer and closer? And now just put the raisin between your lips to feel the corners and the edges of the raisin. And as you're holding it there, also notice what happens in the thoughts. And now you can pop the raisin in without chewing. And as you're feeling the raisin inside the mouth with the tongue and the upper palate of the mouth, just noticing what's going on inside the mouth. Whether you can taste anything at all without chewing. And now just take one bite. And what's happening with that bite now? What do you taste? And by the way, which side of the mouth did you use to take that bite? Our tongue has different places where it can sense the sourness, the sweetness, the saltiness. Where are you sensing the taste right now? And now you can chew some more. Just chew the fruit that you have. And keep chewing. Noticing all the taste. The way the teeth grind. The way the tongue moves to help with the chewing. And perhaps there is a sense of urgency to swallow. Just notice the thoughts that come in as you're chewing again and again, more than usual. And when you really, really want to swallow the fruit, go ahead. To each his own time. And as you're swallowing, also notice how the tiny piece of food is traveling down. Breathing in and sensing the food. So in the MBSR, Mindfulness Based Stress Reduction first class, this is one of the exercises we do, among others.